Book of Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 7. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom. And with all thy getting, get understanding. I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to start off as always by giving all praise, all honor, all glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachah Kudash. A double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who teach and who rule well, who taught us this truth through the power and spirit of Yahweh. Bahashem Yahweh Shai. A Lord willing, this lesson is edifying to the elect out there, whoever you might be. And Shalom to the 144,000. It's the brother Amawan Padah from GMS Denver Camp, coming at you with a quick lesson at the plantation and whatnot. Okay. And this is Proverbs 4 and 7. It's a heavy hitter, one of my favorites. Okay. And it's talking about getting understanding. All right. And that's exactly what these scriptures give you. All right. The understanding of life and the will of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, why things are the way they are, why you're in the position that you're in. All these things come from understanding the scriptures, man. And your mind can only be awoken to this if Yahweh Shai is dealing with you, man. And a lot of our people don't have the understanding of what's going on, why things are happening the way they're happening. All right, because the Lord has rejected them, man. And it's evident, you know. And a lot of our people, they've heard, you know, the prophets. All right, they've heard the truth about the Hebrew Israelites, but they reject it. So they walk around in darkness trying to figure it out on their own, and they can't, because this is the understanding of, you know, life, man. This is the true understanding of what the will of the Lord is, man. And when you reject that, you just reject all your understanding of life and, you know, life and everything else that comes with it. But without further ado, excuse me, I want to get into an article that I came across today. So here's recent news. This actor, all right, this Hollywood celebrity, whatever, Malik Yoba, no longer identifies as black. Okay, now this is a big deal to a lot of people out there in the world. All right, we already know that we're not black, right? You so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, Latinos, you are the Israelites, the Hebrew Israelites, man. That's what you are. All right, and we're scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, even looking like the heathen nations. But, you know, if your father's seed line goes back to being one of the 12 tribes, all right, you're an Israelite, man. That's your identity. Black, Hispanic, Latino, Native American, all these are bywords, man, that have been given unto you by your oppressor to keep you away from knowing who you are, the sons of the Most High. But let's read a little bit of this. All right, 2025 hasn't even seen full 3 months go by without a horde of unprecedented moments. Malik Yoba added to this by declaring that he no longer identifies as black. Cool Runnings, all right, that old movie in the 90s. Cast reflect on film's creation. Whatever, that's something else. It says, America, I've decided that I am no longer a black man. I'm no longer a person of color, black, indigenous people of color. All right, I guess that's what BIPOC stands for. All these weird ass names. None of that shit. The 57-year-old actor said in a video, what I am is a non-white man, and I think we should all just start calling ourselves non-white. So they're going to have to figure it out. Let them rebuke that. Let them refute it. Let them come up with something that just says, we like all non-whites. Excuse me, we don't like all non-whites. So this is what he said in the video. Okay? And this is a foolery, but people are reacting to it, man. And really what he's doing is he's trying to, he's really scratching to try to find the truth, man. But, you know, I'm pretty sure he's heard about the Hebrew Israelites, man. But the point is that we have our identity, man. The Lord has given us our identity back in these last days through the mouth of the prophets. Yeah, we're not going to just start calling ourselves non-black people. That's stupid. Or non-white people. That's a dumb thing. Okay. On the surface, this comes off strange, but Willie D believes Yoba was onto something. Are you picking up what he's putting down? He asked his YouTube audience in a video. Malik is trying to say this. Damn, I can't read today. Malik is trying to say is Trump administration has rallied white folks to come together against everybody else, and that the only way The rest of us individuals stand a chance is to consolidate our individual powers and make a collective effort to get what we want and what we need out of this administration and out of this country. The Houston rapper stated that he can dig that. So yeah, man, these people are lost. They're lost, man. All right, they think that coming together is gonna help them make the so-called white man appreciate them and give them benefits that they desire. That's fucking backwards, man. You're never gonna succeed under this man's rulership, man. What don't you black people understand, man? You Latinos understand. And I say that because the majority of our people don't identify, with their true heritage, man. They want to just be black, Mexican, Puerto Rican, and all this other bullshit. You're not gonna get true justice, man, by voting or whatever other plans you might have, man. All right, let's get some precepts out. All right, here we have the book of 2 Timothy chapter 3. I'm gonna start at verse 1 and read down. It says, "This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come." And we're in those times. We're in the last days. Perils are awaiting. But it says right here, "For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy." And that's the majority of people on the earth, man. Including 2/3 of our own people. "Without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good." And the 2/3, they hate this truth. They hate the message of the prophets. All right. Because they really ultimately are in opposition to the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of the Most High. And that's why they're in Hollywood, man. They like the pleasures of this life. They pretty much sold their soul to make it in this society. All right, they're selfish. They're lovers of their own selves, man. They don't care about the nation. All right, so therefore they reject this knowledge, man. That's why they are the way they are. All right. "Having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof, from such turn away." A lot of these celebrities and whatnot, they try to act like they're spiritual. They say that they've been talking to God, and they say all these different things on YouTube to suck people in that don't really have understanding. Here it is, you have a celebrity get on YouTube or on a platform and thank God, and you think that they're spiritual. Yeah, they have a form of godliness, but they're denying the power of the true power, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, man. Another example, you got Kyrie Irving, all right? The NBA player. You saw how he pretty much went back into the world, ended up shaving his damn beard off too. All right, looking crazy as hell. Then he got his ass injured. All right, he was proclaiming to be an Israelite, but then he denied the power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. He rather, bend to the ways of this society. So he had a form of godliness, but it wasn't really real, man. They don't really believe, in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. A lot of them are just full of shit. Okay? Brandon T. Jackson's punk ass. He's back in Hollywood, trying to get his name back, and he denounced being a Hebrew Israelite pretty much. There's a video on that too. I'm not gonna get that, but you can go watch that for yourself. But yeah, these people they act like they're so godly and whatnot, but it's false, man, because they don't have the understanding. The Lord has not chosen them. All right, here we have the book of Hosea, chapter 4 and verse 6. And Lord willing, you can hear me. It says, "My people," or the Israelites, "are destroyed for a lack of knowledge." And that's the 2/3 on this side, man, who have rejected the truth. It says, "Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power. I will also forget thy children." You see, they rejected the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures for whatever reason. So guess what? That's going to be their demise, man. It's going to be to their own confusion. All right? A lot of you people out there are walking around confused, trying to figure it out. You're going to Egyptology. You're going back to the Christian church. You're trying to figure out, what's going on. but you rejected the knowledge of Yahweh Shem Shai, which is being, spread through the men that you see on the highways and hedges day in and day out, man. The same ones that you mock, the prophets of the Lord, man. Starting with Great Millstone and those who come in the same doctrine as Great Millstone. All right? You rejected the true knowledge and understanding of what is really going on, so just be confused and die, man. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and play this video clip real quick. Disclaimer. All right. Fair use.
Willie D Live.
What's up, family? Actor Malik Yoba has a message. He no longer identifies as a black man or a person of color. So, what does Malik identify as? A non-white man. Are y'all picking up what he's putting down? Anybody feeling that? Are you picking up what he's putting down? I picked up what he put down, fam. What Malik is trying to say is, this administration, this Trump administration, has rallied white folks to come together against everybody else. And that the only way the rest of us individuals stand a chance is to consolidate our individual powers and make a collective effort to get what we want and what we need out of this administration and out of this country. I can dig that, man. I can dig it. But it ain't gonna work. Every day.
All right. So, yeah, you heard that. I'm not going to play the entire thing. And he was right at that last part, man. It ain't going to work. The only way out of this hell is through Yahweh Shem Shai, man. Okay? And there's other nationalities that are non-white, that are heathens, that have nothing to do with the Hebrew Israelites. We're not joining with them. Okay? So, yeah, man. That ain't the answer. Let's get some more precepts. Actually, I want to continue on. 2 Timothy chapter 3, we left off at verse 5, right? So let's continue on to verse 6. For of this sort are they which creep into houses and lead captive silly women laden with sins, led away with diverse lusts. Okay? Ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. There you go. There it is right there. You can have all the PhDs and all the doctorate degrees and whatever, but if you ain't got the knowledge of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai and the true understanding that comes from Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, then guess what? You out here lost, man. You're never going to come to the knowledge of the truth, the real truth, man. There's only one truth, man. And the truth is that we're the Israelites and we're in captivity underneath our enemies, man. And the only way we're going to get out of this is through our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai, returning, all right, and destroying this current society, man, which is being ran by Esau, Edom, the devil that the Bible speaks of, as it tells you in Job 9 and verse 24. See, we got the understanding. How do we get that? Through the scriptures, man, by the Holy Spirit, from learning from our teachers that the Lord has set up, the prophets. So the elect have the understanding. All right? Everybody else, you just walking around in darkness, man, trying to figure it out. And I got to bring this out, man. Romans 11:7. All right? What then? Israel have not obtained that which he seeketh for, which is the truth. The Israelites are looking for the truth, man. But the election hath obtained it, and the rest were blinded. Yeah, the truth has only been revealed to the Lord's elect, or it's only been accepted by the Lord's elect. Everybody else out there, all you other Israelites out there who are searching for the truth and trying to find answers to your problems, you're not going to get it because you've rejected Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and you're not of the elect. So you're going to get guys like Malik Yoba talking about I identify as being non-white. Get the fuck out of here, man. We know who we are. And we identify as being the Hebrew Israelites. Here we have the book of Baruch in the Apocrypha, chapter 2 and verse 30. It says, for I knew that they would not hear me because it is a stiff-necked people, but in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves. Okay? Who is that talking about? The Israelites. We're in the land of our captivity right now, all right, where we serve slavery and are currently still in slavery. Just, it changed its forms, all right? And we're all here, all 12 tribes, man. We're here, man. You can find all 12 tribes of the nation of Israel here in America, Babylon the Great, and scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. But the main concentration of Israelites is here in America, man. Okay? And guess what? We are remembering ourselves. That's why you see the men out there with the garments, holding camp. You see, making videos and whatnot. Because the Lord, He's caused us to remember ourselves, man, in the land of our captivity, and we're proclaiming it boldly in the face of our enemies, man. We are the Hebrew Israelites from our respective tribes, man. All right? So-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, man. Fulfilling prophecy. But they can't see that. All right, here we have the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17 and verse 4. It says, "And thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever." So this is the Lord telling us that He took away our heritage from us, man, because of our rebellion against Him. And He caused us to go into captivity. All right? You see what I'm saying? That's what happened to us. So we were calling ourselves all kind of different bywords, not knowing who we truly were. All right? That's the doing of Yahweh Shemel Shai, because we have a rich heritage as being Hebrew Israelites. That's a heavy thing, man. And since we abused, our relationship with the Lord, man, He said, you know what? I'm going to send y'all to a land and they're going to beat your heritage out of you. If you remember that show Roots, where, Kunta Kinte was getting whipped on his back until he said his name was Toby. That's kind of like how these motherfuckers did us. They took away our heritage, man. They gave us different names. You know what I'm saying? We had names of the slave owners. That's why your last name is not a Hebrew name. It's because of captivity. That's why you're speaking English and Spanish. That was given to you by your oppressor. You see? Our original language was Hebrew. So that's why you're confused and not knowing who you are here in America, Babylon the Great, and other parts of the earth. But now in these last days, the Lord is bringing us back into our heritage, man. All right, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 3, it says, "Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come," all right, the day of the Lord, right, "except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition." The falling away is when we fell away from our heritage, man. Okay? That happened. So the day of the Lord is at hand. And also the son of perdition is being revealed. And everybody's turning against his ass. And that was even part of the sentiment in that video, all right, where Malik Yoba, well, he wasn't in the video, but it's part of the sentiment of him saying that he identifies as non-white, because people are seeing that you crackers are the devil. All right? They just going about it the wrong way. These actors and celebrities, they're going about it the wrong way. All right? The only way to combat, these damn devils is through these scriptures, man, through the word, through the covering of Yahweh Bashim Shai. But yeah, that's the point, man. They're falling away. I had to bring this out, okay? Psalms 83. I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, "Keep not thou silence, O power. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Most High. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones." Who are the hidden ones? The Israelites. We're the Lord's people, and our identity has been hidden for a long time. They never wanted us to know that we're the Israelites, man. That's why they gave you those bywords: Black, Hispanic, Native American, so on and so forth. Verse 4, "They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel," or Yasharallah, may be no more in remembrance. That's their goal, man. They never wanted us to remember who we were. Because if we identified as being the Hebrew Israelites, we would turn back to the ways of our power, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. We would call upon the true names. And guess what? The Lord will defend us and end his wicked rulership, man. The wicked rulership of Esau. And it's happening now because the elect are awoken to the fact that they are the Israelites, the sons of the Most High, his chosen nation. All right? The name of Israel is being remembered through the elect. So that's the point right there I wanted to make. And, even further back, there's a time in history where these Greeks, which are Edomites, wanted us to fall off from our heritage back then, man. They tried to beat out our history from us. They made it illegal to worship Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai and identify as being Israelites, man. This is 2 Maccabees chapter 6. I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, not long after this, the king sent an old man of Athens to compel the Jews, all right, which are the southern kingdom, the tribes of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, all right, to depart from the laws of their fathers and not to live after the laws of the Most High. So these devils made it illegal to worship Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai and follow his laws. All right, verse 2 it says, and to pollute also the temple in Jerusalem, and to call it the temple of Jupiter Olympius, and that in Gerizim of Jupiter, the defender of strangers, as they did desire that dwelt in the place. So they pretty much said, you got to worship our guys. You can't worship Yahweh. All right, you got to worship Jupiter. This is what they did to us, man. This is how hell-bent they were on ripping us apart from knowing who we were or who we are and serving our God, man, the true living power. All right, today they gave you what? White Jesus. All right, which is false. Verse 3 says, the coming in of this mischief was sore and grievous to the people, for the temple was filled with riot and reveling by the Gentiles, who dallied with harlots and had to do with women within the circuit of the holy places. They're sitting there having sex with women in the temple, man, defiling it. And besides that, brought in things that were not lawful. This is why you bastards got to pay for what you've done to the Israelites, man. Verse 5, the altar was also filled with profane things which the law forbiddeth. They sacrificed swine's flesh in our temples. And swine's flesh, you're not supposed to touch it according to our law. And yet they sacrifice it on our temples, man. The Lord's finna fuck you Edomites up for all this shit you've done. All the way going back to the Greeks. And before that, verse 6, it says, neither was it lawful, check it out, here's the point. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient fasts, or it should be feasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew. You see, this is how hell-bent they were on making us forget who we were. All right? But now you got Israelites in these last days talking about I'm non-black, I'm non-white. I'm not black, I'm just non-white. Nah, man, you're an Israelite, dummy. And we're trying to tell you that. But they don't want to listen, man. But yeah, I'm going to end this lesson right here, man. The point has been made. I just want to show you this article that I came across. And I immediately thought of some scriptures and I brought them out, Hopefully this was edifying, to you elect out there, whoever you might be. We know who we are, man. And we know who we identify as. We have our true identity. All right? So I'm in this lesson right here. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak, Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who teach and who rule well, who taught us this truth through the power and spirit of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. They call me Yashar Rollin in the Bible Bar. Shalom.